Today we're going to cover, or try to cover, putting a rattle chamber in a Swimbait. This is one that's already been done, and I got a few in different stages. This one's ready to do, and this one we're going to show you how to do it. I learned how to do this from Greg Vinyl in the Crankbait Masterclass. He teaches a lot of good stuff in there, and I highly recommend it. But first thing you want to do is put your screw up there. If I can get it on there. Just mark your line, because you don't want to go through where the screw is. Get it straight. That's pretty good. You just want to show where it's at so we don't run into it. Alright, for this process we're going to need I'm using a 3/4 Frostner bit, a 7/16 regular drill bit, and also a 1/16, which is on the drill press already, to drill our holes with. You're going to need some metal covers for your ends, and I like to use, on this you can use a Coke can on a smaller one. You can make larger or smaller rattle chambers, but this is a fairly big lure, so I went with a bigger one. And I like to use a little bit thicker metal. This is actually off of the top of a snuff can. And I had made a template. You just put it on there and mark it out, which I've already done. You need a pair of snips to cut these out. Just cut around the line. Anyway, that's I guess it doesn't have to be perfect as long as it fits in the hole. Test fit it. And that fits pretty good. Now, put these on to the side. Alright, now we need to mark where we want our chamber at. And you want to put it at the top of the lure because it's going to leave an air pocket in there. And you want to do this before you weight your lure, because you're going to have to weight it with this after this is in there. See, I'm pretty close to the line. And I want to be as far back on the lure as possible to get the most rattle out of it. And that looks pretty good right there, so I'm going to push that in and mark it, make a mark. There we go. Just so I'll see that later, I'll put a little dot on it, like so. Alright. Now we want to drill through it with our 1/16 drill bit to make sure we get it straight through each side. And what you want to do is hold your lure as flat as possible to make it go straight through. So here we go. Keep your fingers out of the way. I think that's pretty good. You just kind of want to look at each side, the hole there, the hole on that side, and it looks pretty good. Look at it this way, and that looks pretty good. Alright, now we're going to change out and put the 3/4 Frostner bit in. like I say, I learned how to do this from Greg Vinyl in the master class, and he has some other books. You learn a ton of stuff in that class, and like I say, I recommend it. Alright, now when we drill this, we just want to go less than let's say 1/8 of an inch. You just want just enough to, so this will be underneath, so you can cover it over with a filler later. So here we go. Pretty happy with that. I hope you can see that. Okay, now we want to change out our 7/16 drill bit in there. You can go a little bit bigger. As you can see, I got plenty of lip right here around this, so I could have went a little bit bigger, made the chamber a little bit bigger, but I just chose to go with a 7/16 for this demonstration. Alright, let's change bits. Alright, now you don't want to drill all the way through on one side. You want to go through a little ways on this side, just in case it's not perfectly lined up. You want to drill through each side a little ways at a time. And that turned out pretty good. Now I got a little close, that's what I'm saying about drilling all the way through, but I still have a lip on there, so it'll still seal up good. Alright. You can use two different types of shot. These are steel shot, and these are brass BBs. The difference is, if you don't have a good sealed chamber, these can rust. So I like to use a sealer inside of there. Today we're going to use polyacrylic. Take a small paintbrush. So we'll go ahead and seal this one. Dip it in. Just want to seal it real good. Seal inside. Turn it over. Put plenty in there. This is to keep moisture out of the chamber. And it's just a little added extra insurance. And you can do this with wood or resin baits, it doesn't matter. But I would recommend putting sealer inside of it just to seal it up, just extra insurance. Okay, you're gonna need to let this set and dry for about 2 hours. So we're gonna move on to this one. Then you're going to need your 5-minute epoxy. You're going to need a mixing board and a small applicator brush, but you can use just about anything small, toothpick, you know, just anything small. I got these little brushes, so I'm going to use it. You want equal parts of your epoxy. It's my first how-to video, so you can tell I'm a little nervous. That looks pretty good. I'm going to mix it. That looks pretty good. Now I want to apply it, and you want to try to keep any epoxy out of your chamber. Just keep it on the lip right here. So I'm going to do that now. And spread it around it really good. And I'll say it again, Greg Vinyl is the one that taught me how to do this on crankbaits, and I just adapted it to swim baits and made it a little bit bigger. You can go smaller with smaller baits. The bigger the chamber, the lighter the sound. And the steel BBs seem to be a little louder, but like I say, you run the risk of getting a little rust in there if it's not sealed real good. But this one we're gonna use the steel BBs because I think I've already sealed this one real good. I did that last night. Put that in there, move it around a little bit to get a good seal, and then let it set for about 10 minutes. And then after it sets, you're going to want to go back over it with more epoxy to make sure it's watertight. And then what we would do, I didn't fill it all the way up. There's still a lip right around the edge of this. And what I would do is take auto body filler, which is this right here. I use Evercoat, and cover this up real good, and then feather it out, and then wet sand it really good, and you should be good. Let this sit for just a second. For the purpose of this demonstration, I'm just going to say this is already dry. And what you would do is take your steel shot, just pour it right in there. Now you can use different size shots for different sounds. You can use smaller ones, larger ones. I don't know if I'd go much larger than that, but you can definitely go with smaller ones for a different rattle sound. And then do the same thing. Put your epoxy around the lip, and then put the lip on there and seal it up. And do the same way. Go over top of that with epoxy, and that should be watertight. I mean, if you put your seal inside of that and then cover that with epoxy, you should have a watertight chamber. And you'll have a sound like that. Also, if you have smaller baits where you just don't have the room to put a rattle chamber in it, LPO sells these little glass rattles, and once you put them in a bait, they're pretty loud. They do pretty good. So, like I say, that's an option for smaller baits. You know, you can't hear it real good because my hand dampens it out holding on to it. But once it's in a bait, like I say, it gets louder. So I think we've covered the sealer. You can use, I would really recommend like a floor varnish to seal the inside, but it takes about 4 hours to dry. But it's very durable, and it's good stuff to use. And then your auto body filler, you need your 5-minute epoxy, small brush. Here's one that's already been done. I don't know if you can hear that. I hope you can hear it.